So Nintendo had their April Fool's Nintendo Direct. Of course, it wasn't actually an April Fool's. Like, all of it was real. I think one of the coolest things that they were talking about, that we learned a lot more, were some more amiibo.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're introducing, new waves, right? We've got Mewtwo and Lucas, I know you're excited about.
Well, we have those continual waves that keep coming, but we didn't know if those DLC characters were going to have their own separate amiibo. So it's really exciting that Mewtwo newly announced Lucas, which, oh my god, that's huge news to me. Because Mother 3 and just Nintendo poking that stick, like, oh yeah,
I know. I really thought they were, because they followed that with Virtual Console news. I really thought they were going to talk about that. But back to amiibos. What's interesting to me is that they're sort of taking the form factor that we all know and they're adding to it. So Yoshi's Woolly World, that's going to have 3 different Yoshi amiibos that are actually made of yarn. There's no hard base or anything. They're these squishy little guys.
Slightly larger and just different colors. I mean, they're the same amiibo, but the fact that they're going to be changing the colors like that is almost saying, like, we know this is for you collectors who just buy all of these stupid things. Like, there's no reason you would just get one.
And there's going to be amiibo for Splatoon as well, but the most interesting evolution of the amiibo are the ones that they announced for the Animal Crossing game that's coming out, because they're in card form.
And they've mentioned that this is something they might do in the future, either for amiibo that have run out, or just maybe in the future this is how amiibo will come out, and that's actually what they're doing. Instead of making individual Animal Crossing amiibo, you're going to get cards. I don't know if I'm quite as excited about that, because the appeal of amiibo is that they're little toys that you can't get otherwise.
Sometimes the appeal of cards, though, is that you buy them in a pack and you don't know what you're going to get, and so therefore there's that whole mystery involved and the excitement when you get something great. Of course, Nintendo makes a lot of money if they end up going down that road, and I see that continuing beyond Animal Crossing, right? Lastly for me, the thing I guess they announced before, but the amiibos now will be able to unlock little demos of games to play, the Virtual Console games only, right? To play on the Wii U.
And not even the full game. You're going to get access to games you already have on Virtual Console, and for about, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it'll just be a short demo. It's kind of interesting that it's not based on what the character is, though. Like, if you put down the Mario amiibo, you might not get Mario. Like, you might not get Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You'd think that they would associate those things together naturally. And we asked a Nintendo rep that we were talking to recently about, well, is there a chance that you might get the same demo twice across different amiibos? And they're not sure. Hopefully there's a system in place to prevent that, but who knows? We'll find out.
And there's lots of other news to cover from the Nintendo Direct. I think one of the other cool parts is that there's a whole new race mode being added to Mario Kart 8 that we've never had before.
Yeah, no, I'm really stoked about that, because I like Mario Kart 8, but I didn't get that great sense of speed from it. And so the new 200cc mode is like exactly what I was asking for, like, yes, it's going to be super hard and difficult, but at least I'll get that sense of just, it kind of feels like, watching it, felt like I was watching F-Zero, and I think in lieu of a new F-Zero game, hell, you can play some of the Mario Kart 8 tracks set in the F-Zero universe on 200cc, and that's pretty close.
Another thing that we learned about from the Nintendo Direct is that Codename Steam, it's a good game. It's a fun game from the Fire Emblem team, but it definitely had some problems with pacing, and it sounds like they're going to fix that.
Yeah, you have to watch the enemy, take every turn for every enemy that they have on the map during a battle, and that takes forever. And that was one of the biggest complaints people had about the game, among others, to be fair. But Nintendo, to their credit, has basically gone and introduced a fast-forward option. So I think, sort of like you do in all the different Mii games on the 3DS, you can hold down, presumably you're going to be like the right trigger or the left trigger, to speed things up, which is great, because that's like Nintendo listening to their fans, doing something about it quickly, and doing it in a way that just sort of totally squashes that problem.
And it sounds like if you have a new 3DS, or even a better reason to have the new 3DS, is that you can get through those even faster. You can't go quite as quickly on the regular 3DS. I think it's 2 times speed on regular 3DS and 3 times speed on the new 3DS. I mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, that Lucas is a fighter who's coming to Smash Brothers, which is incredibly exciting for me, stoking that Earthbound fire, which never dies inside me. And I love that they're introducing more characters, but Sakurai had said earlier that we might not get any more DLC at all for Smash Brothers. That's not going to be the case at all, though.
Maybe he wished that was the case because he's so tired, but one of the things Iwata announced was that they're going to be doing an online voting system where people can cast their vote for what characters they want to be in the new Smash and put a little reason why. And obviously they're not going to be able to get everything that everyone suggests, but what a great move from Nintendo, and like another example of them listening to their fans. And where so many companies fail to do that, they're going out of their way and basically saying like, yeah, it's up to you guys pretty much, just speak with your votes. Let us know and we'll make it happen if we can.
And the final one on our list is that Virtual Console is going to be beefed up a little bit more. They're going to get some N64 and Nintendo DS games now.
It's getting a whole lot of beef.
But the more interesting thing is how they're going to be able to tweak the controls in that, though.
Yeah, you're going to be able to completely map any button on the 64 to any button on the gamepad that you wish. And as for the DS games, what's interesting is they give you 3 different ways to play them and 3 different ways for the Wii U to present them. So you can play them on the gamepad by holding it vertically. You get the top and the bottom screen. You can play some games using the TV for the top screen of the DS and then the gamepad for the bottom screen, obviously. Or you can have it be on just the TV as well, which I guess a game that doesn't require touch, I'd be fine with. I'd be curious if they're going to mirror between the gamepad and that TV, just so you can kind of get the best of both worlds. But it's a pretty sweet move. I mean, it's made sense forever that they should do this, and they said that they're going to do it, so it's great to kind of see it happen finally.
And they listed out a few of the games that we'll be getting, which, nothing super crazy, super exciting. It'll be more interesting when we figure out what happens between that DNA merger and bringing the Club Nintendo and all that together, and eventually maybe having a virtual console that marries your handheld and your console.